Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm for Classic and welcome to BenchART. So for today what I do have needed is the Talos Principle 2, a game developed by Crow Team. And let me tell you some things in advance about this game. I have played the first game and I did love it because it was a very good puzzle game. And above all, it was more than the puzzle game. It was a philosophy, a lot of existence. Oh my god, the words existential crisis. So the crisis of existing. I don't know. So there is a lot of cool subjects behind the puzzle game that it is quite interesting. It got me um, when I got the game because I was expecting to just have a regular puzzle game, but it was way more than that. So I was really surprised because the Crow team, the people behind the Talos Principle, are the guys behind the Series Sum, which is a dumb shooter. You just shoot, and I like the game too, but I mean it is just a dumb shooter, and I never expected them to release an intelligent game as the Talos Principle. So I ended up completing the game, and I did love the graphics at the time. It was using their series engine, which I also liked it because it was very scalable. You could run that game on an Android if you want to. Those Tegra Nvidia Androids, but you also could push your graphic card from that time. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on the point of view, this time the Talos Principle 2, it is fortunately developed by the same developer team, the Crow team, but it is using Unreal Engine 5. And as expected, Unreal Engine 5 also powers, inside this game, you can also have stuff like, I'm not sure if they are using Nanite, but I'm going to assume that they are using it. But surely they are using Lumen when you use high settings, alright? It's very demanding, but it is a huge difference when it comes to lighting. So I decided to take the GTX 1650 Super for a spin to see how it performs in this game. And like the usual, I tried the game with low settings with upscaling, medium settings with upscaling, high settings with upscaling, and then high settings without any upscaling. Ultra settings was really too slow. It was running at 20 frames per second, so I didn't record it because it was pretty bad. Then I decided to go with 1440p low and medium with upscaling, and also 1440p high settings without upscaling was running really slow, so I also didn't show up. I decided to not put it in here. And 4K with upscaling, it actually handled it with performance mode of upscaling techniques, but median settings with balanced upscaling, it was also really slow. So for the upscaling methods, instead of using FSR, I decided to go with TSR because I do think it is superior, mostly because it doesn't have too much shimmering. All right, it's more softer, and I do enjoy that much more than the fizzling that FSR does in grass and stuff like that. So for this video specifically, I decided to go with TSR instead of FSR. Performance is very similar between them, so just choose the upsampling methods, method that you enjoy the most. Alright, so my recommended settings for this game if you are going to play, I do prefer to play the game with 1080p median settings. I do use TSR on quality, and then I bump up post-processing to high. Post-processing on high, it does enable some nice sun shafts effects that do appear in some areas. Although those sun shafts are not volumetric lights, it's just the old sun shafts, but a little bit more refined. It is not demanding, so you can push those post-processings to high if you want, and have that effect. Because at median, you lose that effect, so it feels like you are missing something. All right, so that's something that I want you to know about it. Now, when it comes to Lumen and all those specific Unreal Engine 5, as you will see, you are able to play it if you want. For example, you can play the game at 1080p high settings and using upscaling, but if you are targeting 60 frames per second, you won't be able to have it at least fully stable at 60. All right, so it's a very demanding thing, but yeah, it makes a huge difference, especially in interiors. That's something that you will notice a lot throughout this video if you continue to watch it. But still, I think whatever the settings you will be using, whatever, if you go with medium, low, or high, ultra, I don't know, all the graphics looks absolutely great. I don't think it is as scalable as the first game, unfortunately. So it requires the X12, and well, it probably doesn't run in a tablet or anything like it unless it is through streaming. So it's not as scalable, and Series Engine was great because of that. But still, whatever the setting you go with, it's just going to look great. And to be honest, the Talos Principle is the type of game that, yes, I do want the game to look good, but all the puzzles around it, it is what really made me stay and play the game. It wasn't really the graphics, because all these puzzle rooms eventually will get old, and the only thing different you see is a couple of new tricks to complicate the game and to make it hard to solve. Alright, I'm not sure. I'm talking just because I know what I played on the first game. I'm not expecting the second game to change that much. But yeah, it is what it is, right? Okay, but let's resume the stuff. If you want 60 frames per second, 1080p median settings with TSR, it will deliver you a locked 60 frames per second, at least if the levels are as demanding as these ones. 1440p low settings with TSR on balance, it does deliver most of the time 60 frames per second. Alright, and 4K low settings with TSR on performance should deliver you an experience above 30. If you want to target 30 at 1080p, you can use Lumen, which is great, and you can achieve those nice new techniques from Unreal Engine 5. Alright, you can have those great ambient occlusion effects. So yeah, if you want to target 30, and if you want to target 30 at 1440p, the only thing you will get it is median settings. Alright, you can't have Lumen at 1440p unless you drop all the other stuff and reduce the upscaling to some values that are very low. So I don't think you want that. And 4K, like I said, 60 frames per second it is impossible, but 30 frames per second it is quite possible at low settings and TSR on performance. Now, when it comes to the typical issues from Unreal Engine, yes, there is stuttering, but not too much. Alright, so the first time you load the game has some shader compilation pass, which is good, which means that the game won't be stuttering all the time every time a new event happens. Although Unreal Engine 5 games have been done this quite wrong, because it starts to pre-compile the shaders as soon as you enter the game, which means the first boot of the game it will be full of stutters. And when I say the boot is the intro videos and stuff like that. So for me, and probably for you that we know about this stuff, we know that the game is pre-compiling shaders, it's not going to be a big deal, alright, because you know what it's doing. But for the majority of the people that have no clue about this, they might think that, oh my god, this game is so demanding that even the intro videos are running slow. Alright, so this might happen, and doesn't make any sense. They could make this, I don't know, a little bit more transparent to the users. So the intro videos would be fine, but as soon as you enter the main menu, you could start to pre-compile the shaders or something. Just like it happens on Call of Duty Warzone, for example, which have a good implementation, because when you start the game, everything just runs as properly, but as soon as you enter the menu, you have something saying building shaders on the corner, and you know what it is doing. And in case of these games, and even the last game that I tried, which was Robocop, it was doing the same thing. The first time you enter the game, it was full of stuttering on the first videos, on the menu, and people might take that wrong. They might think that something is wrong with the game. It's nothing wrong with the game. It's pre-compiling shaders, but it isn't really telling you. And doing that above the intro videos, it is not a nice way to start the game for the first time. But Still, it is better to have shader pre-compilation than having, like I said, a bunch of stuttering every time you do something new. And for that, I think that the Crow team have done a nice job in that sense. Alright, so I think that's all that I want to talk about the Talos Principle 2. The game is not very expensive on Steam. I can't vouch really for its quality if it is as good as the first one. But if you didn't play the first one, go and get it if you like puzzle games like Portal or anything like it. It is absolutely great. Alright, so that's it guys, thank you a lot for watching and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.
Help me prepare your vessel. Well done, my child. The shapes you are collecting are not mere toys. They are symbols of the process by which our people were created. Behold, child, you are risen from the dust, and you walk in my garden. Hear now my voice, and know that I am your friend, and I am called Elohim. This land is but a dream. You will stay here only for a little while. Soon you will awaken in a new world. But first you must undertake the trials of initiation. They will help me prepare your vessel. Well done, my child. The shapes you are collecting are not mere toys. They are symbols of the process by which our people were created. Behold, child, you are risen from the dust, and you walk in my garden. Hear now my voice, and know that I am your friend, and I am called Elohim. This land is but a dream. You will stay here only for a little while. Soon you will awaken in a new world. But first you must undertake the trials of initiation. They will help me prepare your vessel. Well done, my child. The shapes you are collecting are not mere toys. They are symbols of the process by which our people were created. Behold, child, you are risen from the dust, and you walk in my garden. Hear now my voice, and know that I am your friend, and I am called Elohim. This land is but a dream. You will stay here only for a little while. Soon you will awaken in a new world. But first you must undertake the trials of initiation. They will help me prepare your vessel. Well done, my child. The shapes you are collecting are not mere toys. They are symbols of the process by which our people were created.